Hey guys, welcome to the community. Today's topic is going to be on beware of reborn scammers. You notice that more and more people are getting scammed by these so-called artists who, you know, they think that they're getting one thing, but then when they actually get the baby and actually get the package, it's like, this was not what I expected. So I'm going to try to give you some tips on how to minimize that, and hopefully you won't get scammed by some people who say that, you know, they are giving you a product that is great and good, and it's just the total opposite of what you were expecting to get. And so let's get started, or as Dr. Who would say, allons-y. So tip number 1. Tip number 1, guys, is going to really be research, okay? Research. I can't say that enough. Look the person up, see if they have a website. Go and ask around from people who have actually bought babies from them, who have bought things from them. Ask them, you know, how did they treat you when you got your baby? What was it like? All of this stuff. So research the person. Research is the first thing. Never be afraid to really just go all out to make sure this is a good artist. You know, just make sure that they have a stable foundation of whatever they're offering, so that you can kind of see the different things that they do with their work. And so that's really important. Of the popular artists, they have a good foundation because you hear them all the time. They're always involved in the community. You know, their babies are up and, you know, Facebook, Instagram. They have their own site. You look and see, okay, different aspects of the work, so you can get an overall view of what they do, and not just based on like this one baby picture that you saw or this one person's, you know, recommendation. So yeah, because everyone's taste isn't the same. So that's number 1, which is research. Number 2 would be, once you research the person or the artist, and now you're like, okay, these seem like a really great person, now what you need to do is just ask questions. The time. Don't be afraid to bother them asking questions. Hey, you know, how much is the baby gonna cost? Just general questions. How much is the baby gonna cost? What kind of paint do you use? And if you're getting silicone, what kind of silicone do you use? You know, EcoFlex 10, things like that. What is your procedure for if the baby comes damaged? Will I be able to send it back to you for a refund if something were to happen? You know, ask those type of questions, because the response you get too can tell you a lot about a person. Because if you're asking, you know, hey, how do you root their hair, and is it micro rooted and things like that, and they kind of catch an attitude like, well, of course I have the best, you know, what kind of quality mohair do you use? And I always use quality stuff like that. Like, if they're kind of like, yeah, then that could be a red flag. Because really, if I'm asking all these questions, you know, these babies are expensive, as I mentioned in the other video. So I want to make sure that I am really getting that product. So don't be afraid to ask questions. And if the person gets really easily peeved or upset about you asking all of these questions, then maybe they aren't the best person to be dealing with. I don't know. I mean, because you have to ask questions. So ask questions. Ask to see pictures. Ask to see up close pictures. And if they have a problem, or if there's always an excuse as to why they can't give you up close pictures, or why they can't show you work in progress pictures, like, there's something kind of off. So make sure you ask questions. Traffic just wants to come every time I do this video. Okay, point number 3. Number 3 is contact. Make sure that you are able to keep in contact with this artist. And the reason why I say this is because sometimes once people get their babies, or they put down that deposit or something like that, then sometimes if they're a scammer, they might go, you know, missing in action, and you keep trying to get in touch with them and they're never writing you back and all this kind of stuff. So make sure that you have great contact with them. Make sure that you can easily get in touch with them, whether through email, you know, sometimes maybe even a phone number, things like that, because that's really, really important. I think you can tell a lot about a person if you're asking about the baby, and you're asking to see pictures and things like that. And the more you ask about pictures, and then it's just no contact for like weeks and weeks and months, and then you're like, you know, well, what happened to my custom? And they're like, well, things got in the way. Now, that's understandable. Sometimes, you know, life gets in the way, but if I'm paying for this and, you know, this baby is already paid for and everything, then the fact that you're not contacting me to tell me first, like, I shouldn't have to contact you first to ask, oh, what happened. That person should the artist should contact you first and say, hey, I just want to let you know that, you know, things are getting a little crazy. I'm so sorry. I will try my best to get this baby done as fast as possible. You know, I shouldn't have to try to go find you wherever you may be in some distant land that you travel to try to escape me and take my money. You know, I shouldn't have to be a detective and try to find you. So if you find that contact is like kind of slipping away, then that's kind of a heads up, red flag kind of thing. So yeah. Tip number 4, if you can, go to doll shows and things like that. I think that that's one of the best ways of making sure that you're actually getting the product that you asked for, because like if you go to like the Rose doll show, you can actually see the artist's work in person, and you know, you can actually hold that artist's work and things like that. So go to doll shows, or the people who if you're like a friend of the person who got the baby from that particular artist, ask if you can see their baby. Can I hold them to, you know, see how they feel and actually see the details for myself in person? Because a lot of the times what happens is that people see these pictures and things, and the pictures look amazing, but then when they get the baby in person, it's just not what the picture said it was. So if you have the opportunity to go and actually look at that work in person, then you know what you're going to get. You know the kind of things that you're going to receive. So that's all for me today, guys. That's all the tips I have. Have fun and, you know, get your dream babies, but make sure that you really do research so that you won't be disappointed in the end. That's all for me. I'm gonna go now. See you guys. Peace out. Love each other, and sending dolly hugs your way. Goodbye.